Node.js, we have seen that some basic concepts regarding Node.js, how to install that Node.js, some data types, their variable declarations, some features of Node.js. Okay, so today we are going to see that modules in Node.js. We will start with Node.js functions. So in JavaScript, it is a functional programming language. Functions are fully type objects that can be manipulated, extended, and passed around as data. Here you can see a normal function structure in JavaScript is defined as like this. Here you can see the example of or the declaration of function. Here function, then function name, parenthesis, opening curly brace, that is function body, and optional return statement here. Here you can see optional return statement and that closing bracket here. Here you can see the syntax of functional declaration in JavaScript. That is function, function name, okay, opening closing bracket, then inside the curly braces the function body is there and optional return statement is there. Okay, this is the declaration or the structure of function in JavaScript. Then in JavaScript all functions return a value. Okay, all function returns a value. In the absence of an explicit return statement, a function returns undefined. That means if that return statement is not there, that function will return undefined. Okay, here you can see the example. Here see function my data. My data is the function name with the with the body of that function is return 1 2 3. Okay, here this function will return 1 2 3. So it will print console dot log my data. Okay, we are going to print the function my data here. Here you can see the opening and closing bracket, and console dot log is used for printing. Okay, so console dot log inside my data function. That function we are going to print what that function consists of. Return statement return 1 2 3. So output of that function will be 1 2 3. Okay, here you can see the another function is there, function my value. Okay, without any statement, without any return statement, if we are going to print that console dot log inside the bracket my value function. Okay, so here you can see here in this function there is no body for that function or there is no return statement, and we are going to print that function here. You can see, but if there is no any return statement, so it will print as undefined. Okay, it will give output as undefined. See the differences between these two functions, function with that return statement and function without return statement. Okay, then here you can see the example of that how we can create that function in JavaScript. Here you can see function hello. Here see the function name is hello with the parameter name. Function having parameter name, then open the curly braces and print that function here with that parameter like console.log. Inside that hello string here, hello plus name, that is the parameter of that function we are going to print here, and we are going to the input to that parameter like hello. Hello is your function name, and parameter for that is in double quote css, that is the name. Okay, any name you can give. This is the parameter of that hello function. Here what is the output of that function? You can directly execute this function in the node.js. Like here you can see the output of that function is hello with this parameter css. Okay, so this is the parameter of css. Okay, sorry, parameter of that function hello. In first and second chapter we have seen that how to install that node.js, how to run that node.js programs, how to write that node.js programs. Okay, so in Windows you can install that node.js and some Microsoft Visual Studio for that. Okay, in that you can code that node.js or JavaScript program, and you can inside that Visual Studio you can run that script. Okay, so you can run this as using like node and program name like node, for example app.js. Okay, so here this function you can run directly here. Function hello with the parameter console.log is for printing. What it will print in double quote here, you can see the string hello and with that parameter plus name here, and we are going to pass the input to that parameter like hello, that is function name with the string css. It will give output as hello css. This is the example of how we can create the function. Okay, So here to declare parameters for a function in JavaScript, list them in the parentheses like this. Here we have list in that parenthesis of that function name. Okay, so there is no checking of these parameters at runtime. Runtime it is not going to check that parameter, or it will take that parameter at runtime. Here you can see the example function hello with the parameter name. After opening that curly brace, console.log hello string with the parameter plus name. Then after closing that function's body, we are going to call that function. Here you can see the hello without any parameter. Okay, next hello with the parameters. Here there are several parameters with the size here. Okay, so how this code will execute, or what is the output of that code here? Here you can see the hello undefined. Why? Because undefined here, because here you can see the hello without any return statement, or there is no parameter passes to this function here. Okay, so that's why it will print that hello without parameter means undefined. And next statement is hello with the parameter, so it will print as hello, and it will print only first parameter. Why? Because you can will see here. Okay, here you can see if too few parameters are passed into a function call. Here too few parameters are passed into a function call, the resulting variables are assigned the value undefined. Here you can see the resulting value will assign the value undefined, because there are no parameter here, or too few parameters, that's why it's undefined here. Okay, then if too many parameters are passed in, here you can see too many parameters are passed in, the extras are simply unused. Okay, the extras are simply unused here. Okay, so that's why it will print only the first one. Okay, so all functions have a predefined array in the body called arguments. These are the arguments. Okay, it has all the values that were passed into the function, and we can do extra checking on the parameter list. Here extra parameters were passed in to that function here. Here we have seen the function how with no parameter and with parameter. Okay, then functions in JavaScript do not even need to have names. Without giving name to that function, we can execute that function also. Here you can see the example for this variable declaration where x is equals to function inside the parameters. Here you can see we have not given any parameters to this function. Okay, directly we are passing uh, parameters in that parenthesis. Okay, variable x is equals to function inside that bracket a comma b, and we are going to return here the body of the function is return a plus b. Okay, and close the body of the function and write the statement console.log inside that x in bracket 10 comma 20. This is the value for a and value for b, and this x is variable. What that variable consists of? It consists of that function a comma b, and what is the body for that function? That is return a plus b. Return what? It will return addition of these two parameters here. So x will add these two parameters, that is 10 comma 20, so that when we are going to execute this code, it will return the result of that a plus b, that is 10 plus 20, that is 30. Okay, so without any function name we can execute, or we can create a function without name. Okay, so the nameless function are typically called as anonymous function. What is that anonymous function? Is without giving name to that function or that nameless functions are typically called as anonymous function. Okay, okay, then function scope. Here every time a function is called, then a new variable scope is created. Whenever we are going to call that function, at that time a new variable scope is created. Then that variables declared in the parent scope are available to that functions. Whatever the variables are declared in the parent scope that are available to the created function, or sorry, to that created scope. Okay, then that variables declared within the new scope are not available when the function exists. See this carefully. Whenever we are going to create or execute any function and the new scope is created, at that time that variables declared within the new scope are not available when that function exists. Okay, so here you can see, consider this following code. That's example like variable pet is equals to cat. That pet variable consisting the cat. Okay, Then that function my method, this is the function having named my method, with that function body consists of variable pet is equals to dog. Then console.log print that pet, that is printing, we are going to print that variable with that value. Okay, so after closing the body of that function, here we are going to call that my method function. Okay, here you can see, and next statement is console.log pet. So how this code will execute, it will give output as dog and cat, sorry cat. First it will print dog, why it will print the dog and why after that cat is there? Yeah, because here we have seen variables declare in the parent scope are available to that function, and variables declared within the new scope are not available when that function exists. Here you can see, first we will call the my method function. Okay, so for after calling the my method function, what it will consist, variable pet is equals to dog, and it will print that variable pet consisting of the value dog here. So it will first print that dog, and after that it will execute the statement console.log pet. So what pet will consist of here? Cat. So it will first print the dog, then cat here. Okay, so why? Because this the parent scope are available to that function here, you can see. Okay, then next one is node.js higher order function. Higher order function we will see. So immediately, what is that higher order execution? Sorry, higher order function is immediately executing function. Immediately executing function means we can execute a function immediately after we are going to define it. Whenever after defining that function, we are immediately executing that function, then simply wrap the function in parenthesis and invoke it. Here you can see, simply wrap the function in parenthesis and invoke